In this lesson, I want to have a brief look at Substance Designer interface. For the start, we have the upper part, which is the version bar, as you see. For example, I'm using Substance Designer 2008.1.1 version. And down the version bar, we have the main menu like all the programs have. File, Edit, Tools, Windows, and Help are the main menu of Substance Designer, and down the main menu I can find some more usable tools that I can find them in the main menu. For example, I can find the Create New File in the File, New Substance, or by pressing the Ctrl N. The other window I want to show you is User Packages, as you see. The user packages consist of our Substance packages. They are files with the suffix of SBS, and when I create a substance, new substance file, or when I open a pre-saved substance, I can find it here and it will be shown here. Alright, let's create a new substance file. For doing that, I will go to File and Create New Substance, or I press Ctrl N in my keyboard, or I click on this icon here. And when I click, I have a new substance graph window which has some options. One are in the left part, we have graph templates, which are some templates for creating my material. As you see, if I want to create a physically based metallic roughness material, I can click on that. And if I want to create a PBR specular glossiness based material, I can click on that. And even I can create a new empty graph for my work and start to add outputs during my work and other things like that. Most of the time I use physically based metallic roughness, and when I clicked on that, I can find the output of this kind of material here in the graph outputs, as you see. For example, if I clicked on that, I have base color, normal, roughness, metallic, and height as my outputs. But they are not fixed, and I can change my output during my work. For example, I can add some other outputs like ambient occlusion, or I can remove some of my outputs I don't need. For example, I can remove metallic during my work, and even I can create my own presets here. But I will show you how to create your own presets in next lessons. The other things is graph properties, that I can give a name to my graph, or I can change my size mode, which is two kinds of absolute and relative to parent, and I will show you what are these in next lessons. For the default, I leave it on the relative to parent and give a name, for example, graph01, and click on OK. And when I click OK, I have a name in my user packages. As you see, I have the name of unsaved package because I haven't saved my package yet. I have a star on the above that. The star shows me and appears when my package needs to be saved and updated. For example, if I save my package and start to change my graph again, this star will appear and shows me my package needs to be resaved. And the start is for that. An unsaved package is because I haven't a name yet for my graph, and if I clicked on the save and give my graph a name, for example, if I save my graph with the name lesson02 and clicked on save, my unsaved package name changes to lesson02. And as you see in my lesson02 SBS, I have the graph 01, which has the output of base color, normal, roughness, metallic, and height. The outputs that PBR metallic roughness gave me. The other window that is the main, one of the main windows in Substance Designer is Graph Editor. As you see, here is the Graph Editor window. And this is our working node-based area that we must use our nodes here to create our own materials. And the output of this graph are the 2D textures that form our materials. These 2D textures are my outputs. that's listed here, base color, normal, roughness, and other things, and I can find them in my graph editor as a node, as you see. And these are the main outputs of my graph that forms my material. We have two kinds of node in Substance Designer. One is atomic nodes that are the main and base node of Substance Designer, and I can find them in the upper part of my graph editor. As you see, here are my atomic nodes. And the other way to access the atomic node is to click on the space in the keyboard in my graph editor. And here I have my atomic node here that are the main and the base nodes of Substance Designer. And the other nodes are custom nodes. Custom nodes are created from atomic nodes and saved in the library to be used in your works. And you can create your own custom nodes by atomic nodes and other custom nodes. Create your own one and save into your library for using in your other works. And I say library. The other thing I want to show you is the library in Substance Designer. As you see, I have my library that consists of two parts. One is the left part of the library is the list of the library I have, and the right side of my library that is the consistence of the list I select. For example, here in the library I have all the things like function nodes, atomic nodes, material filters, and other things I need for creating my materials I can find in the library. And when I click one of the things in my list, for example, if I clicked on my generators, I can find all the consistent of my generators that is belong to noise and patterns, and I can select them separately for clicking on these ones. For example, if I click on the noise, I will have all my noise nodes. And if I click, for example, atomic nodes here, I can find my atomic nodes here. And let's click on the pattern, for example. And for using them, I must select the node I want here and drag and drop into my graph editor window. As you see, now I have this custom node in my graph editor. Alright, these are the nodes, atomic and custom. The other thing I want to discuss about is the 3D window in Substance Designer. Here is the 3D window, and 3D view shows the 3D view of our work by projecting our material to a 3D object. And this object can be our own object that we import in Substance Designer, or it can be Substance default objects. For example, as you see here, I'm using my Substance Designer default rounded cube, and I can change this default shape by going to scene here and change the default shape. For example, I can select the sphere, and as you see, I have a sphere here. And you can import your own object too. And the other window is 2D window. As you see here, here is the 2D window. And it shows the 2D view of the node we are working at, or at least the nodes that we want to see its current result. Alright, these are some of the windows, and the other thing I want to say is how to navigate in my graph editor 3D view and my 2D view and the shortcuts for navigating into that. In the graph editor, if I hold the middle mouse button and start to drag, I can pan. And if I clicked on the Alt and hold the right mouse button and start to drag, I can zoom in and zoom out. And in the 3D view, if I hold the middle mouse button and start to drag, I can pan. If I hold the right mouse button and start to drag, I can zoom in and zoom out. And if I hold the left mouse button and start to drag, I can rotate my shape in my 3D view. And in the 2D view, if I hold the middle mouse button and start to drag, I can pan. And if I hold the Alt in the keyboard and hold the right mouse button and start to drag, I can zoom in and zoom out. And one of the other shortcuts in the 3D view is holding Control and Shift in the keyboard and the right mouse button and start to drag. And as you see, my shape is in its place, but the environment start to rotate around my shape. And for showing it better, I will visible my environment to show you. You can see the reflection, the environment in the sphere, but I will make it appear. For doing that, I will go to environment and click on the edit. And here in my 3D view options, we have a display component. I have an option here, is visible. I made it false, and if I clicked on true, I have my HDRI environment. And if I hold the Control Shift and the right mouse button and start to drag, as you see, my environment start to rotate and my shape is fixed in its place. And it's for changing the effect of the light in your shape without rotating it. Alright, I will disappear my environment again, and this was the shortcuts for navigating in my graph editor, 3D view and 2D view. Alright, the other things I want to say, the other window I want to look is the window for the setting of my nodes. For example, if I clicked an atomic node here, if I create, for example, a color, uniform color node, if I create a uniform color node, I have my parameters of the uniform color in the right side, as you see. And let me show you. These are the parameters of the uniform color if I select my node. And as you see, I have two kinds of parameters. One is basic parameters. The basic parameters are the same for all the nodes. For example, all my nodes have base parameters like output size, width and height, output format, pixel size, pixel ratio, tiling mode, and other things. And the specific parameters, which is unique for all my nodes. For example, for my uniform color, I have the specific parameter of color mode and output color. But in another node, I may have another specific parameters which is not the same with uniform color. So the specific parameter is unique for all the nodes. And the other thing I want to show you is the atomic node. I have the name of specific parameters, but in the custom node, as you see, I have the name of instance parameters. Instance parameters and specific parameters are the same, but because when I use my custom node from the library and drag and drop it in my graph editor, I'm using an instance of my node in the library here, some kind, and so the name of instead of the name of a specific parameter, I have the name of instance parameters. And in my break, as you see, I have my instance parameters of a scale, edge smoothness, and some other things like that. Alright, another thing about 2D view is, for example, when I select this break node pattern, as you see, and I see in my 2D view, this break is tile label, and for seeing my tiles of this break, I can click on the space in the 2D view. If I click on the space, I can see all my tiles of the breaks. As you see, I have a tile, and if I again click on the space, the tiles will be disappeared in the window. The other thing about 2D view is, for example, if I clicked on uniform color and select that, my uniform color node is selected and my parameters of the uniform color is appeared here, but I don't see the uniform color in the 2D view. That's because if I want to see the effect of uniform color in addition of uniform color, I must double click on a node. So for seeing the effect of a node in 2D view, you must double click on a node. But for selecting a node, just one click on that is enough. So for changing the parameters of the node, you can just one click on a node. But if you want to see the effect of that node in 2D view, in addition to changing the parameters of that, you must double click on a node. And this was the other thing I want to say about the 2D view. And let's do our final job for this lesson. And for the final thing, I want to create a red shiny metallic material in Substance Designer and show you how to create that. Let's delete these nodes and start my work. For example, I want a material with the red color, so I need a uniform red color. For doing that, I will click on the space in my graph editor, and then I will find the uniform color here. As you see, uniform color is an atomic node, and I can find it in the above list here. For example, if let's click on here and let's move that. Yes, here I can find it with the name of CLR in my atomic nodes, and this is the uniform color. Alright, I want my uniform color to be red, so I will select my uniform color and change the color of that to red and link this uniform color to my base color, and I have a red color material. As you see, my material is so shiny and the reflection is so clear in my material. I want the reflection to be a little bit blurry, and in other words, I want my material to be a little bit more rough. For doing that, I need another uniform color for my roughness, because I want my roughness to be uniform for all the places of the shape. For doing that, I want another uniform color. So click on the space and give it another uniform color for my roughness and link the uniform color to the roughness. Black means my material is shiny, and the more I move this color towards white, I have more rough material. Because I want less rough material, I will select the color and give it a dark gray material to that. Alright, now I want a metallic material. For doing that, I need to give another uniform color to the metallic output that I have here. For doing that, again, I will click on the space and give another uniform color and link it to metallic. And black means my materials is dielectric, it's not metallic. And for making it metallic, I must move this color towards white. White means full metal material. Alright, let's select that and change the color of this to the white. And we have two options for the color mode. One is color and the other is grayscale. I suggest you, if you don't have colors and you want just colors between the black and white area, select the mode to grayscale and put the mode to grayscale, because the grayscales are more optimized for your material than color. And the more optimized your material is, it will be load more with higher speeds, and it's better. So try to use your material as optimized as you can. Alright, now they are grayscale, and as you see, when I gave my roughness and metallic outputs some maps, some errors appeared in my shape. And if I change the shape of my shape, if I change my shape for to a rounded cube, I see the errors in the corners yet. That's because I have roughness and metallic for my output, but I haven't anything for my normal. And this error appears when I haven't a normal. So I need a normal map for my normal output, even it can be just a simple uniform color. So I need a normal for my normal map, because but I haven't anything, just a uniform color is enough for that. For doing that, I will click the normal and find the normal color here, and when I link the normal color to the normal, the error is solved. Alright, now I have a red shiny metallic material in Substance Designer. I don't need the height, so I will select the height output and delete that. And when I delete this height, you can see the height will be deleted from my output. So when I delete, and the height is deleted. Okay, I think it's enough for this lesson, and in the next lesson I will show you the more usable nodes in Substance Designer, and we will have some practice on those nodes, and we will start to learn them. Alright, I hope this lesson was useful for you. Have a good time, good luck.